Green Bay City Clerk Celestine Jeffries steps down from her role. That decision comes after months of scrutiny over duplicate ballot incidents and just days before Tuesday's primary election. Elise Snow is at the First Alert Now desk with more details. Elise.
Yeah, Cami, this all started with duplicate absentee ballot packets being mailed before the April election, and the same issue happened again ahead of this month's primary, prompting a Wisconsin Elections Commission investigation. Now, Jeffries was later placed on administrative leave. Then, just last week, the city's response to state investigators identified her as the person who reprinted ballot labels in both incidents and outlined new safeguards ahead of Tuesday's primary. While Jeffries is stepping away from the position, the city isn't offering any additional comment at this time. And the Green Bay City Council is also expected to receive an update on the city's internal review of the duplicate ballot incidents at its August 18th meeting. Brown County Republican Party Chair Doug Reich says Jeffries stepping down doesn't end the need for accountability.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. Resignation is good, but it's really not an accountability. It's not accountability, and it doesn't answer the open questions.
Brown County Democratic Party Chair Wander Seaver also sent Action 2 News a statement which reads, quote, "Expecting free, fair, and trustworthy elections should not be partisan. Any efforts to ensure public confidence should be applauded," end quote. Well, Jeffries became clerk in 2021, and the city says Stacy Menke, who has served as deputy clerk, will serve as interim city clerk while the search for a permanent replacement begins. Cami.